Whether you're a newcomer or an ex-pro, the chances are, if you ride a bike, at some point you've made some mistakes, if not all of them.
Yeah, so what mistakes have you made?
1, 2, 3.
I'm going to start this video with an absolute favourite of mine, actually, bonking.
No, Chris, not that kind of bonking. The cycling term for running out of energy. Running out of energy so catastrophically that you're grinding to a halt, only having enough energy to turn the pedals and think, and only being able to do one of those things.
Now that makes more sense. So what is bonking? Well, it's otherwise known as hitting the wall if you're a runner. It's simply running out of glycogen, the fast release energy that's stored in your bloodstream and your liver. And it's normally the consequence of having either ridden too far or having not eaten enough. So there are two things that you can do. You can either top up your stores little and often, or just ride a little bit easier.
Oh, Chris, when I normally bonk, I normally take an extra spare gel or maybe some money, because to be honest, carrying the extra weight is definitely worth it, and it will save you foraging around the hedgerows or bins. Yeah. Have you got a spare gel?
I've got no spares, but I'm happy to push you home.
Oh. Punctures. If you're going to ride the fast, light inner tubes and tyres, then from time to time they are inevitable. They're frustrating, they're annoying, and they're downright deflating. Excuse the pun. But there's something even worse than that. It's getting stranded on the side of the road without a puncture repair kit, without a pump, and without a spare inner tube, and only the tweeting birds for company. Chris hasn't got a spare tube or kit, so I'm going to leave him to it.
I suppose you could be forgiven if for the last 23 years you've had zero issue whatsoever, but even if you're going for a short ride, we recommend taking at least one spare tube. If it's a long ride, maybe take two just to be safe. And either way, you should probably carry a puncture repair patch with you because they're a versatile item and they pack away and they're very, very small and light. And all of this will prevent you either having to hitchhike or call an unsympathetic loved one for a lift home. All of those things ruin your ride. Overdressing. It's a phrase that will strike fear into any party goer.
I know that feeling. You know, turning up casual to a black tie dinner.
Yeah, you weren't going to tell anyone I did that. But anyway, no, in the cycling world, that would be more like wearing an airy skin suit to your local spin class, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah, it would.
No, that's not what we're talking about at all. We're talking about wearing too many clothes.
We've all been there, haven't we? Judging the temperature from the comfort of our sofa, putting on that extra base layer because, to be honest, no one wants to be cold on their bikes.
Nope.
And then we head out for the ride and we're the perfect temperature. We're a genius. We're absolutely perfect. Then 20 minutes into our ride, we're pressing on. Our heart rate's up. Our body temperature is soaring. Sweat is dripping from our brows. And we're trying to unzip. But it's the most uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah. You're almost better off just feeling a little chilly for those first 5 minutes, pedaling a little bit harder, warming up, and then feeling just right.
I'm so hot, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm not in the good kind. Yeah, we've all been there, haven't we? Leaving the house and after 50 pedal revs, we hear that sound, the squeak of a dry chain. And if you're anything like me, the last thing you want to do is turn around and go back. Or you've arrived at the start line to a race with no lube to hand. So what should you have done? Well, you should have washed your bike and then lubed it straight after. But you haven't done that, have you? So are there some substitutes you could use? Well, you're in luck, there are. Luckily, I brought some olive oil with me. This works an absolute treat to stop that awful sound. But I've also been told you could use a gel you're not using, or even some ice cream. Anything to lubricate the chain that little bit. I mean, there's nothing worse, is there? The sapping of the power because of your horribly dry, crunching chain. Ugh.
I suppose one advantage of having a painfully dry chain is you're not going to pick up one of these bad boys, the dreaded chainring tattoo, synonymous with newcomers to the world of cycling. Fortunately, there are ways to avoid this. One of them is, of course, just cleaning your chain, but the other one is to always leave one foot clipped into your bike when you're standing next to it or on top of it, and putting it away like that in kind of a tripod fashion. Often the chain ring tattoo will come from standing with your legs close together over the top of the bike like that. Once you've picked up the tattoo, you're going to want to remove it as fast as possible. Now, if you remove it with your hands, chances are, black fingers, and then by the time you go to scratch your nose, you're going to have a black face as well. We recommend get some tissues or some wet wipes.
This is another nightmare for every cyclist that travels away with their bike. You arrive at your destination, get kitted up in all your lycra, even sort your bike out, and you go through your bags and you can't find your cycling shoes anywhere. It's the absolute worst. But what do? Do you A, ride anyway, B, sack it off and go to the pub? Well, we would advise you take the option A, you ride anyway. People have actually completed cycling events wearing just trainers and clipless pedals. So it can be done. I mean, you don't even have to wear a vest or cycling shorts. All you really need is a helmet and your bike. No matter how important you think your glasses are, because, well, I think my glasses are quite important. Anyway, where are those blooming cycling shoes?
In my mind, one of the worst mistakes anyone on a bike can make is not communicating properly on a group ride. Let me explain. Imagine you're riding down this beautiful stretch of road, but for whatever reason, there's some debris in the road or a pothole. If you don't point it out, the riders behind you, they have impaired vision. They can't necessarily see it. So they could hit it, which could cause puncture, or even worse, they could crash.
Yeah, something even worse than that though, Chris. It's that finding a rogue snot rocket right in your face. Oh! So, if you want to clear your airways, make sure it's clear, move out. There you go. Nice and easy. Keep everyone happy too.
One final pointer, if you are sat on the wheel, pay attention at all times.
There you have it, we've come to the end of all the mistakes us cyclists seem to make.
If you think we've missed any out, drop it down in the comments below, give us a big thumbs up or like, and for more great content, click just over there.
Oh, you keep making them mistakes, mate. I'm perfect.